And joining us to talk more about that is the Finance Minister of Haryana, actually, Captain Abhimanyu. Great to have you with us, Captain Abhimanyu. As I was saying, in many ways, the rolling out of GST is a landmark event for how the centre and the states have been able to sit together, make a constitutional amendment and work something out in the national interest. Would you say that's one of the highlights of what's happening?
Yes, Vikram, I fully agree with you. This is probably the most historic event that has taken place in the center-state relationships in independent India. And this is one of the biggest reform that the center as well as the states have actually, in a way, if you allow me to say, surrendered their sovereign powers of taxing, or in the other words, as we like to call it, pulled in our sovereign powers of taxation in one single tax for one market and one nation in the form of GST. And I'm very delighted after all the hard work, at least as a member of GST Council, or even before that as member of the Empowered Committee on GST, for the last 2.5 years, it's been almost a full-time work for us that finally it is coming around. And I would like also to place on record here that I have seen the zeal and the support every political party has given in the Empowered Committee as well as GST Council. Every political party across the entire political spectrum, from center as well as states, has contributed to the this entire structure of GST that we've been able to come up with.
No, I think you're pointing very correctly to what the highlights is, the fact that the center and the states were able to work together in this, and the fact that BJP leaders such as yourself and Congress and Trinamool and everyone left, they all have been working on this in the national interest together, has been something noteworthy. Now, some of the other states, though, having worked on getting the GST through, at the last minute, there are some states, we were just hearing Derek O'Brien from the Trinamool Congress and others from other states have also said, maybe we're not ready just yet. Maybe we need more time for traders to learn what's happening. Why are we pushing this through in such a hurry? What would be your take? And from the Haryana point of view, do you think we are completely ready?
Haryana is completely ready, I can assure you that. And whatever we discuss in the GST Council, yes, a few of these states like Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, they suggested that if you could take it a month or some more time forward. But the general consensus in the GST Council was that it has to be and it must be introduced on July 1st, and every state is ready and the entire nation is ready for GST. And we did accommodate any possible teething troubles by extending the time limit for the first filing of the returns. So I think the entire rollout is very well scheduled and very well laid out, so there won't be any issues as such, and we are prepared for any such initial hiccups if there are any. So I do respect the point of view expressed by any of these members of GST Council.
So just to understand,
I am fully sanguine that we are ready.
Yeah. So just to understand that, Captain Abhimanyu, from the point of view of, look, the governments are ready. And I've been assured by everyone from Mr. Hasmukh Adhia to the Finance Ministry and others saying the infrastructure is in place, that there shouldn't be any problems. I guess what the traders and others are saying, and I'm sure they've come to you also, that we aren't completely ready. Shopkeepers aren't ready. They're trying to understand the rules. They're saying, how is this going to be implemented? And you know, they're going on giving interviews saying maybe we need more time. I have to say, to be fair, sometimes we Indians tend to push things to the deadline. No matter what the deadline is, we'd always want more time. But what did the GST Council, what are the deliberations in the GST Council on the thought of maybe giving more time to train the traders and others?
We did discuss all the concerns raised by various representative organizations of traders and as well as industry. But when we took an overview of the whole preparations, so we felt confident that this is the time to roll out GST and there's no reason to delay it any further. And as far as preparedness of the traders is concerned, Vikram, you know it very well, now it is out in the open that up to 20 lakh turnover limit, the traders are out of GST, or the dealers, and up to 75 lakh turnover limit, there is a composition scheme. So it totals up to almost 65% of the total dealers who are registered today. So a whole lot of burden is removed from a very, very large number of dealers. So and the rest of the 35% dealers, we can all very well appreciate that they are all big enough businesses to do all the preparations, and they should be ready. And I'm sure they are.
Okay, so those are the short-term, teething troubles that I'm sure are going to be there, and which I'm sure all of you are anticipating as well. One of the concerns, and again, which people have been asking, and I'm sure it's been discussed at the GST Council, is whether the rates are too high. A, that there are too many rates, that's clear and obvious, but perhaps it can be reduced later. But also the fact that the rates themselves are high. I'm again sure that lots of people in the GST Council must have been discussing it and debating it and seeing whether the rates could have been reduced. What do you feel from the point of view of the states? Are the rates okay? And are the states going to be eventually getting their fair share of revenue?
See, most of the representation that we have received and most of the issues that have been raised are generally out of ignorance about the rates or rules or any other issues pertaining to GST. Like I would give an example, in some of the states, the trader organizations represented that the VAT which was applicable on a particular item was, say, it was lower, and now the effective GST rate is going to be higher. But the GST Council was very conscious of the fact, and we kept the revenue neutrality in mind, and all the slabs, the fitments were made accordingly, that there is no major distortion in the present tax applicable and the post GST tax range. So a due care has been taken. A lot of discussions, deliberations, and a lot of factors were considered. So I don't think there will be any major distortion in the prices of various commodities and services. So all the fears that have been so far shared about the changes in the tax rate structures are mostly unfounded because of the ignorance. And even as far as rules are concerned, I think that as they progress into GST, as they start working on GST, they'll find it much more simpler.
All right.
It replaces many taxes. It replaces the. It is an alternative to so many other taxes. They'll have to just deal with one office online. So it's going to be much simpler than they were used to earlier.
All right, Captain Abhimanyu, my compliments on all the work that you and other finance ministers of all states have really put in to get this thing through. And as I said, it has really been a pretty massive exercise in cooperative federalism. So congratulations for that.
Thank you,
and we are looking forward to
your support too. We appreciate your support too.
Thank you, Captain Abhimanyu, and we look forward to seeing
Thank you so
GST
much.
being rolled out in at midnight tonight. Now,